I'm the director of production for Chicago Shakespeare Theater, and we worked with Omphile Molusi to develop the piece in Chicago earlier this year. So when in Chicago, I worked very closely with him and with his team of designers in Chicago to create the physical environment for the piece, so the sort of canvas on which he was able to tell his story. So in the development of the piece, we went through a lot of sort of creative problem solving, figuring out not only how to create this canvas that would tell the story well, but also a canvas which we hoped and now have toured out of Chicago. So something that sat well in our space at Chicago Shakespeare, but also a piece that we felt, or a physical environment that we felt could move nimbly and could live in a variety of different scaled venues throughout the world.
From a production manager's point of view, was it a particular challenge to bring such an African story to Chicago?
Not so much bringing an African story to Chicago, I think more bringing the African story that we created and realized physically in Chicago here to the market. I think working in Chicago, we have our toolbox, we have our strengths and our weaknesses, and we know what all of those are. And so to create the piece there was much more challenging from the standpoint of walking that line between giving the piece everything that it needed to have in Chicago from a sort of storytelling standpoint, but also keeping in mind that we wanted to keep it nimble enough so that when we did, as now we are, fortunately, when we did have the opportunity to take the piece out into the world, we could do so nimbly. We've done a lot of touring at Chicago Shakespeare Theater on a variety of different scales, from sort of large pieces that have to travel by cargo jet to pieces that travel in suitcases. And I think, anyone will tell you that a piece is more likely to have a longer touring life if it can move nimbly. And so it's always that balance to strike. You want to give the piece the tools that it needs, but also allow it to move easily. And I think with this one, we found a really nice sort of middle road and a sort of meaning of the minds, in that the piece is served well by the simplicity of the visual tools that we have. So it is easy to tour, but I think that is also what gives it its sort of profundity in the visual storytelling of the piece.
Are you able to take me at all through the backstage drama of the week of opening? I believe some of the set didn't get here.
That is correct. Some of the set is still not here, actually. We arrived through the vagaries of air travel in a very circuitous route, and our bags did not. And as of yesterday morning, actually, one of the large scenic cases was still in Amsterdam. And so we, given the very abbreviated production schedule here, decided that we didn't want to count on the promises of the airlines to deliver it to us. And so we worked with the Market Theater here to actually recreate some of the scenic pieces that didn't make it. And it's been a really, really great collaboration, and actually I think a learning experience for us. We have our way of working in the way that we go about creating scenery, and the Market Theater was able to, I think in a lot of ways in a much more rapid way than we would have, was able to basically recreate a lot of the scenery for us. So we spent the better part of the day yesterday working with them to find the pieces literally in some alleys out in Joburg to bring in and chop up and turn into the set pieces that we needed. So, and what we actually now have is a set that in a lot of ways is a little bit more organic than what we created, and that was always the goal. But there's, when something is made of foam and paint and the sort of facade of something, it never has the truth that the actual logs that we chopped down and built into our set yesterday have.
And just one last thing, which is the production manager is a quite interesting animal, isn't he? He's virtually a nocturnal animal.
That is
happiest at night.
Safe
hardly
to
ever
say.
comes out into the natural daylight.
It's very challenging. We have no sun in Chicago, so it's much easier there. We've had a hard time here in Johannesburg because we don't have this much sunlight most of the time. But no, it's been absolutely wonderful being here. It's nice to thaw out a little bit after a long Chicago winter.